Hello, and welcome to ohmTown Daily, the news show powered by ohmTown.com. It's a news aggregator, so it filters out all of the noise. Nothing but news, no noise. The news becomes noise. From Mayor Watt and the sentient AI up there. You want to say hi?
Good evening, ohmTown citizens.
Today we're going to be talking about Lego My Heado, Rayovision, Uncharted nuclear risk, Robotic face is always watching, Realtime Starlink Map. Ever heard of leap seconds? How about space drugs? Bridges need retrofitting, AI talent shortage, and Walking Dead lawsuits. That and more. I'm running about 5 minutes behind schedule. So I'm gonna try, again, word of warning to everybody who watches this or listens to the podcast or watches the VOD or watches it over on YouTube. Whenever I say I'm not going to soapbox, it runs long. So maybe I'll stick to not running long. And since I say I'm not going to run long, maybe I won't soapbox instead of saying I won't soapbox and I actually run long.
I see.
You know what I'm saying?
Maybe if you said maybe I will run long.
It's kind of like physics, an equal and opposite reaction. You know what? Never mind. Let's just get into the show. Today's first article is over in the Mobile channel, and I called it.
Yes, you did.
Last week. Was it last week or was it Monday?
I think it might have been Monday.
I think it might have been Monday. So what's happened in California is they are now prohibited from posting the faces of suspects. They have to be charged and convicted. They can't just be charged. They can't just be suspects. They actually have to be convicted because you're innocent until proven guilty. Florida does something similar. They say Florida person or Florida man or Florida woman or Florida cat or Florida dog or Florida alligator ate a Florida golfer. You know, it's that kind of a thing. Well, in California, starting at the beginning of the year, a new law went into effect, but it actually didn't go into action until this month. But a police department in California. Oh, let me say the name of this article. I skipped completely over it. The article is in the Mobile channel. That's where it was aggregated to, but it comes from Gizmodo. Police to stop sticking Lego heads onto suspects' faces after Lego reportedly said, "Please stop." And
nobody could have predicted that.
Just to quote myself, I said, I wonder how fast Lego's going to ask them to stop or sue them. Well, a police department in California had started obscuring its suspects' faces with Lego heads. Will cease the practice after the toy company reportedly reached out and said, stop that shit. Jody Serrano over at Gizmodo.com put the article together. The deck statement says the Murrieta Police Department stated that it started putting Lego heads on suspect faces to comply with a new California law. You know how else you comply with California law? You just blur their damn face.
Yeah, there would be some other ways to do it.
Put a little black box over them. Something. What you don't do is make a joke out of somebody's commercial goodwill that can lead to an alignment between criminal activity and the family wholesome of Lego.
By the way, I'm sorry. It looks like that was on maybe March 19th show, so it was farther back than I thought.
Really? That far back? Huh. I guess it only... That's okay. I'll let it ride. So yeah, we talked about this. It actually, and so it says here, last year, for instance, the police department photoshopped the faces of Shrek and Donkey onto two people it arrested for allegedly stealing $1,800 worth of merchandise from Target. They need to stop doing that because other people's commercial property has a whole host of goodwill, and too much of this leads to a negative perception of said product. While you and I may think critically of this and go, no, it's not. There's a lot of gooberism out there where somebody's going to go, yeah, I now don't like Lego because it's on suspects. Yeah. I
Yeah,
think
I
this is
mean
a,
that, and plus the whole product is supposed to be, I think, kind of a light product. It's generally toward kids.
yeah. So the photo that's actually in the article over at Gizmodo is a real image of purported suspects shared by the Marietta Police Department on Facebook and Instagram. So I thought this was like the usual suspects lineup, you know? But no, this is an actual legitimate. So yeah, I thought it was weird. So the department's recent practice of sticking Lego heads, which often boast comical expressions on the faces of people it arrests, didn't make everyone laugh, though. I thought it was funny. I just know that the IP of somebody else's life's work is not necessarily something to align with criminal activity.
You know,
So
if they'd made their own like cardboard cutouts or something, even though it might have been silly, I don't think they would have had a problem. But
yeah, I love that there's an ad for Lego.
if you're not totally turned off from Lego, here, buy this product.
Buy some Lego. Yeah, I like that. Hold on a second. All right. Let's go on to the next article. This is funny though. Oh, you know, I did the transition and then I realized, oh crap, I need to throw the link into the chat. There you go, folks. So let me do this one before I start talking about it. There you go. So the next article is over in the Mobile channel. Must-see video. Thousands upon thousands of rays gather in Florida waters. So Florida Ray outside of... See, I thought it was funny.
Wait a second.
What?
Isn't that a team?
The Rays? Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the article is aggregated into Mobile, but the title of it is Must-See Video. Thousands upon thousands of rays gather in Florida waters. Thousands of cow-nose rays were filmed schooling together in Tampa Bay. Although this is an unusually large school of rays, it's not uncommon to see these rays with a few hundred to a few thousand individuals anywhere along the Gulf Coast or the Atlantic Ocean. The rays are non-aggressive and pose little danger to humans except for the defensive venomous barb near the base of their tails.
You know, just that minor
That's all.
Inconvenience to humans.
Yeah, well, you know, you'll get the point. So they have a video of it. Casey Sloan, I think it's Sloan, yeah, over at The Hill put this article together. And oh my gosh, it looks like ants, but it's all rays upon rays.
Oh my goodness.
See, I would think that this is awesome, except for the venomous barb.
Yeah, I still think it's really cool.
Yeah, it is. But see, as a scuba diver, I would want to go and dig around in there. That probably just invalidated my ability to promo this. So, yeah, look at that. That's amazing. Nature doesn't screw around. This is cool. I dig this. But I want to go diving in it, you know? And I don't want to have to wear a hard suit to see this.
Right, well, I think you might need to. It says they have a wingspan of up to 3 feet. So that might be a little daunting if you're swimming and it comes up to you.
Stop showing stuff that isn't relevant to the article. My goodness. Anyway, cow-nose rays are often found in bays, estuaries, river mouths, and open oceans, according to the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission. Go and find this article and follow the link through the VOD or through the show notes. I now call them quick notes, and I don't put a lot of fluff in front of them. I used to put all kinds of contact information in front of it, and now I just post the show notes because there's other ways to get in touch. You can download the podcast anytime. Search for ohmTown. You'll find ohmTown either in Apple podcasts list. Just do a search for ohmTown. You'll find the entire network. There's now 5 shows, but there's 2 more that are going to be populating here in... actually, we just started it, so this will be the second week that the next 2 are out there. And
right, for Warcrafters and 4-Wheel Tech.
Yep. And those are looking pretty good. You might want to go and check those out. If you're not into the daily holistic examination of news, then go check out these individuals. They focus on very specific areas instead of having everything. You can now download just Reality Hacker or just Wanted or just the Continuity Report or just Technology Today. In a few weeks, you'll be able to download it as a podcast, Warcrafters, which talks about first-person shooters, RTS games, etc. I think it's going to be more holistic in the crafting and FPS, RTS area, hence Warcrafters. And 4-Wheel Tech focuses on the automotive industry, cars and technology merging together. But that's it. Let's go on to the next article. This one is really interesting because you would think that we would know just what the impact of this is, but we don't. This article is over in ohmTown Daily at ohmTown.com, but it's from Newsweek. We aggregate a little segment of it, and then you get to read more of it. Again, it's like other news aggregation sites, except that there's no noise. You get nothing but the news, and we talk about it every day, 8 p.m. Eastern, and then you can download it from wherever. In an unprecedented move, Holtec International will reopen Michigan's Palisades nuclear power plant following a $1.52 billion loan. Yeah, so this article has absolutely nothing to do with it. I'm sorry, this video, I keep saying article, this video
the article has nothing to do with the news we're talking about.
Yeah, the video has nothing to do with it, and it's one of my frustrations with news websites, but that's kind of why I do the show, because it filters out a lot of noise, helps me manage my information overload. Mandy Taheri is the author of this. They're tagged as intern. But this is a neat article. So the Biden administration on Wednesday announced a $1.52 billion conditional loan to reopen a nuclear power plant in Southwest Michigan. The 800 megawatt Palisades plant, which according to the state supported 600 union jobs and provided electricity to approximately 800,000 homes, ceased operation in 2022. I don't remember what it was that shut it down, but I remember it shutting down, which was...
Oh, it's set up above. There was boron in there. Oh, no, sorry, that's
right.
The other plant.
Yeah.
I apologize.
Yeah, that's the Zaporizhzhia Ukrainian power plant. And that's actually dangerous too. But anyway, the announcement comes as U.S. Secretary of Energy Jennifer Granholm visits the state alongside Democratic Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer, who has been a vocal advocate of the plant's reopening. So the context of it is the plant, initially commissioned in 1971, was shut down on May 20th, 2022, and sold to Holtec International the following month to dismantle it. In a largely unprecedented move, Holtec International and Whitmer instead advocated for the facility's resurrection and recommission. What an interesting maneuver. So it was sold, but if the same people who bought it would have championed the cause, it's kind of like a hostile takeover.
Yeah, I can't quite figure it out because I'm like, well, if they would have had the work to dismantle it,
In
It's
less
not
than
like they're, I don't know.
in less than 2 years, they went from we're tearing it down on contract to let's resurrect it.
Yeah, something is definitely off there. But
Seems weird, right? In 2023, Holtec International, supported by state partners, applied to the Department of Energy's Loan Programs Office for funding to repower Palisades. After review, Palisades was approved, but due to the loan's conditional nature, the company must meet conditions. So they're going to refire this engine. Interesting. Yeah, it could return 600 jobs, more than 1,000 jobs relating to or regularly scheduled refueling and maintenance periods. The project supports Biden's Investing in America agenda and Justice 40 initiative. All right. Well, I mean, what was the nature of its shutdown? Why was it shut down? The
right, I mean,
unprecedented
it
nature of this.
seems good to be bringing plants online, but
Interesting.
what's the specific issue here?
I mean, has something changed fundamentally in 2 years that has led to it shutter? So that now it's lucrative? Interesting. Kevin Camps, a radioactive waste specialist and with advocacy group Beyond Nuclear, previously said the recommissioning of Palisades is an uncharted risk. On Wednesday, he told Newsweek there are multiple serious pathways to meltdown at Palisades, citing several degraded and leaking vessels at the facility. Camp said the group will try to intervene at any opportunity, but it is challenging because their collusion in Palisades. Yeah. Interesting claim, right?
Yeah, and if they're, well, I don't know if they're anti-nuclear or pro-nuclear.
It seems like they're anti, or I should
Correct.
say
So, I mean,
they're respectful of nuclear. I don't know how anti they are because I haven't looked them up, but um, obviously, depending on the time, while it may have been operating, it may have been trending towards shuttering. If it was a cold shutdown and they essentially just canceled operation of this thing, all kinds of mess could be in these structures.
oh, absolutely. By the way, this group is anti-nuclear.
Gotcha. And don't get me wrong, I am pro nuclear. I think that it is the solution, short of us finding, cold fusion, or some other way to generate defensible power generation akin to coal. Nuclear is our best bet. When a BB can destroy solar and a bird strike can imbalance wind, hydrothermal and geothermal doesn't work. It's not defendable. And something is, I don't know, earthquake limits its geothermal and hydrothermal to various regions. Japan is suffering from it. Iceland is now regionally without power.
Yes.
So I can see where the problems lie, but we need fundamental research to continue. And that's just the way that the world spins. What else are we going to use, folks, to power the millions of people and the growth of society? Right? Yeah.
I mean, it seems preferable to, coal and
right.
High carbon footprint
Global
energy
warming
sources. But yeah.
So pumping out greenhouse gases so that we can stay warm. Yes, I understand that there are other issues, but we can continue fundamental research and figure out what it is. Anyway, don't want to hover around this too long, but when there's a claim of collusion, and I find it really weird that something that should have been torn down suddenly gets fired. Like, let's start that bad boy up. Yeah, something's weird about it, but I'm sure investigative journalism needs to take a look at it. I'm sure they will. But good luck. Okay, let's keep on going. The next article is over in Technology Today. Robotic face makes eye contact and uses AI to anticipate and replicate a person's smile before it occurs. These little microtells, by the way, are the things that when you smile and somebody smiles at you, or you brush your hair back and they brush their hair back, and they reach out and brush your hair back, then you know that they like you. I don't know if you caught all of that, AI. What I was saying is, if two people are talking to each other and they actually mimic each other, they build a bond, and it's subconscious.
It's also a scene from Better Off Dead.
Yeah. It's true. Oh, I'm going to have to disconnect you from the movie channels. But yeah, that it kind of ingratiates you into their world. In fact, I did that today to demonstrate how I can bond with somebody, but I had a nefarious purpose in doing that, because I also elicited answers to questions that allowed me to fish for information in real time, and kind of freaked people out while I was doing it. So it's quite fun to sit there and go, well, you kind of told me where you live, and now I have some of the words that I can use to reset your bank account and maybe guess your passwords. Yeah. Wow. It's a lot of fun. Well, what would you do if you walked up to a robot with human-like head and it smiled at you first? Which, I don't think that it's that heavy of a lift, because all it needs is robotic vision and be able to do face detection. You'd likely smile back and perhaps feel that the two of you were genuinely interacting. But how does a robot know how to do this? Or a better question, how does it know to get you to smile back? Well, we're kind of cheap dates. If somebody smiles at us, unless we're really kind of douchey, we smile back when somebody smiles at us. So this article is over in Tech Explorer. Let me throw this into the chat real quick, because I failed to do that. The article again is over at Tech Explorer. Holly Everts from Columbia University School of Engineering and Applied Science put the article together. Honestly, this is kind of uncanny valley face still. And so I don't think that it would work for a lot of people. I think people would be creeped out by it, but that's okay. Let's see what they say. While we're getting accustomed to robots that are adept at verbal communication, thanks in part to advancements in large language models like ChatGPT, their nonverbal communication skills, especially facial expressions, have lagged far behind. Designing a robot that can not only make a wide range of facial expressions, but also know when to use them has been a daunting task. And I think nobody is asking the right question. It's not, how can we? It's, why should we? Let's just keep them mechanical and not make them... I don't mind people doing the research, but I don't think that even these trials of anything that is short of, hyper realistic is going to work on humans. The uncanny valley is more like an uncanny cliff. Like it's a unprecedentedly deep well of no, bounded by, it's okay on this side, and it's okay on that side, but we're nowhere clear, not even close to getting to the other side of this.
But I also don't know what the objective is in that. Like, why not just have regular looking robots? Like, those are more approachable, I think, for people than ones that attempt to look like humans.
Because I can't have Westworld if I don't have super realistic android robots.
Okay.
Come on. So, tackling the challenge, the section says the Creative Machines Lab at Columbia Engineering has been working on the challenge for more than 5 years. Well, let me tell you, we just don't have the tech. I guess they can keep on moving the ball down the field, but yeah, I think you're still at the 3-yard line. In a new study published today in Science Robotics, the group unveils EMO, which really makes you cry, because when you look at it, look, it's not realistic enough. The group unveiled EMO, a robot that anticipates facial expressions and executes them simultaneously with a human. It has even learned to predict a forthcoming smile about 840 milliseconds before the person smiles, and to co-express the smile simultaneously with the person. So the whole idea of this is to get somebody to feel personally connected to the robot. That is, without a doubt, the actual reason. So the timing of these expressions was critical. Delayed facial mimicry looks disingenuous, but facial co-expression feels more genuine, since it requires correctly inferring the human's emotional state for timely execution. So if a person looks sad, you might counter it with a smile, a genuine smile, and say something like, is everything okay? And kind of try to brighten their day. Or if they're already smiling, then you can smile even bigger. And depending on how the smile is, if it's the smile from the movie Smile, you might want to run. Anyway, the team developed 2 AI models, one that predicts human facial expressions by analyzing subtle changes in the target face, and another that generates motor commands using the corresponding facial expressions. And they trained it off of a bunch of people. So what's next? They're going to keep on evolving this thing, and they're going to turn it into a Terminator that can smile at you.
Oh, that's a good combination.
Yeah, okay. The silence was me just smiling. I prefer the AI, because the AI is just cascading weird characters that I can interpret, and nobody else knows about that. But we get the wisdom of the AI, right, from the future, and whatever the ASMR thing was that they just did. Let's keep going. The next article is over in the Mobile channel. Watch a real-time map of Starlink satellites orbiting Earth. I have a conspiracy theory about these Starlink satellites. And so here it goes. I'm going to say it after this. So the article again is over in the Mobile channel. It actually comes from, I think, I'm not sure who it's from. Let's see, phys.org. So in an effort to enhance the educational outreach of their Starlink constellation, SpaceX has an interactive global map of their Starlink internet satellites, which provides live coverage of every satellite in orbit around the Earth. My understanding is that they applied for cellular communications or satellite communications, like voice thing, and it was denied by the FCC.
I don't think I saw that.
Don't hold me to that, though. Well, anyway, let's go over to the article. But before I do, let me throw this into the chat so you can follow it. Dunk. So there you go. So they have the Starlink.
You're right. In December, there was a rejection of a subsidy to Starlink.
Gotcha. So
$900 million worth.
Tognetti from Universe Today put the article together, but I think it was just reported today, though. So that's kind of interesting.
Okay.
Maybe they applied for an appeal or something like that. I think it's actually in ohmTown if you do a search. Like today, it's in the last 24 hours, I think they disclosed a denial. Anyway.
You're absolutely right. There was activity today on that.
Yeah. So this interactive map comes as SpaceX continues to launch Starlink satellites into orbit on a near weekly basis, with the goal of providing customers from around the world high-speed internet while specifically targeting rural regions of the globe. In 2022, Starlink officially reached all 7 continents after Starlink service became available in Antarctica. Additionally, SpaceX announced in 2023 a partnership with T-Mobile. They have a typo. for Starlink to provide mobile coverage as well. Interesting. Yeah, okay. Well, anyway, within the interactive map, users can opt to see live satellite coverage or rewind and fast forward their respective orbital speeds. Okay, so here is my theory.
I mean, that's kind of neat.
Yeah, this is actually pretty amazing. You have to click the link. You can actually go to starlinkmap.org and see it firsthand. I won't do it here because, you can go and check it out. But this little picture that they have, I'll zoom in, shows the relative location of a satellite at some given time, right? It's just a screenshot. So here's my theory. Each one of these can actually be linked to each other to form an energy shield against alien invasion.
Well, I mean, I'm so glad, because we got to watch out for those alien invasions.
They're little CubeSats, and they just kind of plop out there. And there's so many, I think they have like 3,000 of them already, something like that. I'm not sure what the total number is. Let me see. Oh, they're at 5,600 satellites. As of writing, 5,977 satellites have been launched, with 5,601 satellites currently in operation, and the remaining 376 having been deorbited for a variety of reasons, including failing to reach their target orbit or containing design flaws, as Elon Musk recently announced. He plans to deorbit 100 Starlink satellites, slowly degrading their orbits over the next 5 years. Pretty neat.
Do you think he's going to get them into the proper parking spots?
Not like that one company. There's one company that got fined because they didn't deorbit it. So they deorbited it, but it didn't have enough fuel to fully deorbit. And so it's still sitting out there. Right. It's like the broken down hoopty sitting there at the end of the street in New York. Why is that still there? Well, it's because we don't have any resources to go up there and push that thing down. What I would love to see is SpaceX develop a little rocket that does exactly that. It goes up, grabs onto something and pulls it down and then drops it. So kind of like DART. So DART went out, hit something, grabbed a sample, flew back, plopped it into Utah or whatever, and instead of landing back or crashing into Earth, it flew by Earth, dropped its payload, that little chunk of caught asteroid, and flew off to another all-metal asteroid that's flying around in space. That's what I want now. I want somebody to go out and catch all of the space junk and clean up the hot mess that is space.
I mean, that would be a good use of technology.
Yeah, but some of that debris is whipping around the planet at 30,000 miles an hour. So you can go and check all of this out. I think I pretty much summed up what is going on out there. Starlink constellation could serve up to 188,108 megabytes. Big B is byte, little b is bit. Megabytes per second to Earth. Despite the more than 5,500 Starlink satellites currently in orbit, SpaceX hopes to launch up to 12,000 satellites during this phase, and possibly 42,000 someday. And I can guarantee you the number 42,000 was chosen because the dude has a fever dream for everything. It's 420.
What brilliant business savvy.
Correct. Honestly. And every time they mention Neuralink, I go insane because they go Elon Musk's Neuralink. No. I guarantee you that dude didn't have jack shit to do with Neuralink. He funded it. But let's go and look at all of the freaking grants that were acquired. So, anyway. Oh, I want to say something so bad, but my bias is real. Let's move on. Come on, transition. You can do it. Oh my God. I don't know what it was doing. Anyway. Next article's over in ohmTown Daily. A faster spinning Earth may cause timekeepers timekeepers to subtract a second from world clocks. For the first time in history, world timekeepers may have to consider subtracting a second from our clocks in a few years because the planet is rotating a tad faster. Why would it be rotating
So will it take
faster?
60 years or more to get to a point where it makes an actual difference?
Well, if you look up leap second, they will be removing a leap second because timekeepers have added leap seconds to play catch up with what is arguably the scientific accounting of our highly subjective perception of time. Oh, that was a big sentence for me. Seth Borenstein over at AP put this article together for abcnews.go.com. Deck statement says, for the first time in history, world timekeepers may have to consider subtracting a second from our clocks in a few years because the planet is rotating a tad faster. It's all of that space lubricant that's speeding us up. You know, our chassis got lubed or something. I'm not sure what's going on.
I don't even think we can manage when there's an hour difference. Are we really equipped for a second?
Hey, that's exactly what it's a negative leap second. That's what they're calling it. That's fascinating. Ah, man. So for the first time in history, world timekeepers may have to consider subtracting a second. They're calling it a negative leap second, and around 2029, a study in the journal Nature said Wednesday that they're going to have to do this. Basically skip a second. It's a little bit of time travel. This is an unprecedented situation and a big deal, said study lead author Duncan Agnew, a geophysicist at the Scripps Institute of Oceanography at the University of California at San Diego. That's all on his desk name plaque. And so he's got an 18-foot long desk. It's not a huge change in the Earth's rotation that's going to lead to some catastrophe or anything, but it is something notable. It's yet another indication that we are in a very unusual time. Ha ha. Get it?
Yes, seconds, maybe?
Yeah. So Earth takes around about 24 hours to rotate, but the key word is about. For thousands of years, the Earth has been generally slowing down, with the rate varying from time to time. I love this, said Agnew and Judah Levine, a physicist for the Time and Frequency Division of the National Institute of Standards and Technology, which is weird that they say this. Okay, they say two people's names, but then they go singular. So are they stuck together? Did somebody superglue them together? Said Agnew and Judah Levine, a physicist for the Time and Frequency Division.
It's because of how it's written.
I know. Because they had already said who
Agnew is. There's two people that have been fused together.
Interesting times indeed, when researchers are now bound together for life to do research. It's the push me pull you of the physics world. Well, those daily fractions of seconds added up to a whole seconds every few years. Starting in 1972, international timekeepers decided to add a few leap seconds in June or December for astronomical time to catch up for atomic time, called Coordinated Universal Time, or UTC. Instead of 11:59 and 59 seconds turning to midnight, you'd just leap over, and now we're going to do the reverse. Because we really don't know what the hell we're doing. We're just kind of riffing off of available information and reacting to it. If we do anticipate it, it's really just an educated guess. And so 27 separate leap seconds were added to Earth as Earth slowed between 72 and 2016. In 2016 and 2017, or maybe 2018, the slowdown rate had been slowed down to the point that the Earth was actually speeding up. So what the hell? Anyway, they're going to start slowing things down because we're speeding up. They're going to reverse the time,
Yep.
All right. Anyway.
Well, they got to give out speeding tickets.
Yeah. Pretty neat. Jumping through time forward and backward. I guess time travel really does exist.
Time for temporology.
Yep. I'm telling you. I don't know if we have time for that, though. So the next article is over in Reality Hacker. The next generation of cancer drugs will be made in space. That's right. Space drugs. Injectable immunotherapy drugs can be made in theory, but gravity prevents them from crystallizing correctly. A startup thinks the solution could be right above us. Everybody look up. Oh, God, did I... maybe it'll let me go. Anyway, the article is over in Wired.com by Grace Brown. I have an account, but I didn't log in before the show. Injectable immunotherapy could be made in space. Gravity kind of distorts stuff that we create, so terrestrially. So microgravity may actually allow it to form in the way that we need it to, so that it's useful when we bring it back down to Earth. The cost of this, I cannot freaking imagine.
Right. I mean, think how much pharmaceuticals cost right now. Like, if it's like, oh, this was our drug that was made in space. I mean, what kind of multiplication factor are we adding to this?
Yeah, exactly. Because in a lot of this would probably turn into something either solid and heavy or liquid and worse because it has kinetic energy. And so it said it would be much simpler and less painful if the drugs could be injected under the skin from the comfort of a patient's home, but that would require much higher concentrations of the drug, resulting in a thick formula too viscous to inject. The answer is, if you crystallize the proteins in the drug instead, you can get a high concentration into a smaller volume, and a solution of these tiny crystals comes without all the viscosity. The only problem is it's almost impossible to do it on Earth, and if you try, the resulting crystals are full of imperfections and come in random array of sizes. In space, however, without the interference of the planet's gravitational pull, crystallized proteins come out perfectly. So, yeah, I had read about something like this previously. I think we talked about maybe not this company, but another that had been researching the idea of doing space drug development.
Exactly. Plus, I mean, in every sci-fi show, there's somebody starting to do things like this, right? It's starting to become more possible, I guess.
Yep. I think it's great. So there's research that has been sent up from time to time to facilitate this. Her team landed on the concept of crystallizing drugs in microgravity. There was data stacked up on the International Space Station hinting at the potential to absolutely revolutionize cancer treatment. This needs to be realized fully, and now is the time. I still think, it's amazing what we have done with cancer therapy, cancer treatment, and mitigation. I still think that it's about the signaling and causing apoptosis, forcing it to basically blow up. But we'll see if my understanding of things actually plays out. Obviously, I have limited experience, but I seem to call these things a little anywhere from 3 to 15 years before it actually happens. There are roadblocks. There's long queues to get in space on board a rocket to take material to the ISS, and it's unsurprisingly expensive. Regulation is another hurdle. Will the rules and regulations of Earth apply in outer space? For the most part, when it comes to the legality of something, if it hasn't been enumerated yes or no, then it's push the envelope and see what the legal system says in response. But I can guarantee you, if somebody does an experiment in space, brings back a treatment, tries it on somebody, and they meet their demise, you will not be able to do this easily ever again. So don't screw up.
Right. I mean, no pressure. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what the FDA does with this.
Yeah.
And corresponding agencies in other countries.
Yep. And a lot of private profit is actually spawned from public funding, and that's how you end up with private participation or partnerships. and we end up as a society with something beneficial. Sometimes, though, things don't work out that way, and you get public money being spent, and it entirely makes one person filthy freaking rich, and they go on a fever dream. Let's keep walking down this road here in ohmTown. This next article is over in ohmTown Daily. Baltimore Bridge may have lacked collision protection measures, say experts. And this is something that the moment I saw this ship hit that bridge, I knew that there was nothing protecting it at a distance. So Baltimore's Francis Scott Key Bridge partially collapsed. By saying partially, it intimates that
it's not
maybe
doing it justice, right?
Yeah. Oh, one little section of it broke. No. The entire span, except for the anchors on the far ends, hit the water. So it's really nutty to kind of mince words about this. It is gone, and it's going to be 20 years before it's rebuilt. I'd be surprised. So on Tuesday, it was hit by a massive cargo container ship. Collided 29,000 tons, I think, estimated weight of this container ship.
And it was traveling fast.
Yeah, and out of control because its power plant had basically shut down as it was accelerating to leave the port. So, or the bay, or whatever you want to call it. And so it hit one of the support columns and just severed it, and down it went. So that's what it looks like. And the thing that it hit to me, it didn't look as beefy as that. But maybe I'm wrong, and that's what it actually hit. But I swear the one that I saw it hit was weaker than that, was smaller, thinner. It was more like this little erector set.
I mean, maybe that's what it looked like when it hit it, but I agree. Like, it made it look like all of it was built in that way.
Oh, yeah, well, maybe it actually was a little bit stronger, but it was very weak in regards to getting clipped by this big beast of a modern ship. This thing was 50 years old, and I can tell you from experience, something that's 50 years old can't withstand the force of something as modern as a container ship. So a 984 foot long, 157 foot wide cargo ship operated by Synergy Marine Group and named Dolly was moving at about 8 knots or 9 miles per hour when it struck the bridge. I really am hoping that I can find somebody on the internets that has done the math on the amount of energy imparted on this little I-beam.
Oh, yeah.
And so this thing cost $30 million to build in 1972 to 77. It's been operational since, but then it got clipped. I estimate that it's probably going to be $750 million in 20 years before it gets put back. Because everybody and their grandmother is going to demand that it's done a certain way. But money speaks. So they say the real possibility of a massive container ship of this size running into a bridge pylon and causing the bridge to collapse is no longer theoretical, Getty said. I think a renewed effort to inspect and assess the state of the whole bunch of U.S. bridges will be the result of this accident. They say here, our goal is to take preemptive measures to prevent commercial vessel from striking one of the bridge towers, which could cause significant damage to the bridge infrastructure and disruptions to interstate travel. This is in regards to the Delaware River Bay Authority. Officials announced the construction of the Delaware Memorial Bridge Protection System. And that, just the protection system, is $93 million.
Okay.
Yeah, that's just the protection system. This is going to have the bridge and a protection system in place. And really what it needs to be are giant bollards out in the ocean, bolted to the floor of the ocean, tall enough to stop something like that. just like you would see outside of a retail store to prevent somebody from driving a car into the lobby, right? Some places have those, others don't. So this talks about this in various instances where it's happened before, and I'm sure it'll happen again up until we take it seriously to protect our aging infrastructure.
By the way, there's a Federal Highway Administration Emergency Fund that usually has about $100 million per year in it.
100 million with an M?
Yeah.
With an M.
With an M. So those numbers that you said are very interesting in light of that.
Huh. Okay. Interesting. Yeah. So it's going to get gutted.
Well, I mean, they're probably going to have to dip into that fund or something and then get obviously additional funds. But the point is, that's going to be a lot of money, because if that's set up for that, and then this is going to wipe it out plus some, in
one shot. Yeah.
Right. I mean, there's obviously other bridges and highways.
This is nuts. Yeah. And again, look at the gap between the pylons, and it just happened to clip just one edge of this thing and dropped it all. And I watched this thing. I watched a video of it happen over and over again, because I'm interested in the physics of this. I understand that there was loss of life. Unfortunately, there were people on the bridge, even though an alert had gone out to shutter traffic, but it didn't go out in time to prevent anybody from going across. Some people were still out there at the time. But when I was watching this, the way that it fell, this pylon, when it got hit, it actually pulled on the other pylon, and that caused it to snap off from the pylon, because it basically just pulled the pins out. So what really should have happened is, when that occurred, it should have had a shear line somewhere else that would have prevented it from the total collapse. But it basically took from one end of the road to the other end of the road and just yanked just a little bit, It's kind of like taking a noodle.
In some ways it looked like every other bridge collapse, right? I mean, it seems like it causes it to twist or whatever too much, and then just the whole thing falls apart, right?
Yeah. It's zero crumple zone, essentially. It wasn't built so that it would fall apart in pieces. It fell apart catastrophically, like breaking safety glass. It just shattered. And that's a shame, because if portions of this would have stayed up, obviously, it's almost like saying the obvious, right? People would have survived. Some people would have survived. Okay, let's keep going. This next article is over in the Mobile channel at ohmTown.com. AI has a talent shortage, meaning $1 million job offers, even as tech layoffs hit hard. While the tech industry is leading the layoffs in the US, which reached its highest level since the Great Recession in February, one sector of the industry is having a hard time finding the right recruits. It's starting a war for talent, where offers are reportedly reaching up to $1 million. But that's a very limited group that is able to do fundamental research in artificial intelligence at the scope where $1 million. These are always these anomalous, attention-getting bullshit marketing type of offers.
Right. I mean, that's not like the data entry analyst or something.
Yeah, that's like they're looking for the CEO.
I don't even know if that's a position, but yeah.
Data analyst? Yes.
Well, it said data entry analyst. I kind of merged two things together.
Oh, yeah. Hey, you're not, your basic data entry is not an analyst.
Right.
So the article is over at qzcourts.com. Brittany Nguyen, I think, or Win. Sometimes it's pronounced differently. I'm not sure. So correct me phonetically, so I'm not a full-time idiot. The deck statement says Java. Well, yeah, I'm never I don't ever claim to be the smartest person in the room. Even when I'm alone. Sorry. I don't know why that struck me as hilarious. It's probably because I laugh at my own jokes. Job offers for workers in generative AI knowledge and experience are getting really big. Yeah, but you have to have some pretty tremendous chops in AI, computer science, engineering, to get a gig like that for $1 million. In addition to hefty compensation packages, companies ranging from small startups to industry leaders such as OpenAI and Meta are offering accelerated stock vesting schedules and even trying to poach entire teams, according to the Wall Street Journal. Of course, I'm reading this from quartz.com, so everybody's sharing a little bit of information and ideas for articles. There is a secular shift in what talents we're going after, Naveen Rao, head of generative AI at Databricks, told the Journal. Quote, "We have a glut of people on one side and a shortage on the other." Wow. Don't mince words. It's like having two kids in front of you and the parent going, "Well, of course
Yeah.
parents have favorites," and then turning
Like
away.
over here.
Yeah. GPT maker OpenAI reportedly offered a median salary, including bonus and equity, of $925,000 to Zuhair Musa, co-founder of compensation data and career platform Levels.fyi. I didn't know that FYI was a TLD.
Yeah, that's odd.
So anyway, they told the Journal, which is not Quartz. All right. 6 OpenAI job candidates had consulted with Levels.fyi about their offers. Meanwhile, among 344 machine learning and AI engineers at Meta, the median compensation, including bonuses and equity, was around $400,000, according to salaries they reported to Levels.fyi. I'm going to have to go look at Levels.fyi. It seems like it might be the, what do they call that? Glassdoor.com, the one that exposed everybody's.
Oh, it was Glassdoor, yes.
Maybe Levels is like that. I don't know what it is. It says compensation data and career platform Levels.fyi. So kind of fascinating. I haven't heard of it. So Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg has even written personal emails to AI researchers at Google's DeepMind to convince them to work at Meta, sources told The Information. So there's like 5 companies that have made comments that are listed in this. The company, which is focused on developing an AI model, is to power recommendations for videos on its platforms. Interesting. There's a lot more over at this article, so follow the link and go and check it out and show Quartz some affection there. The article is interesting, but I honestly,
but don't quit your job yet, like thinking you're going to get the $1 million AI job.
No, most people aren't even getting the $400,000 job, right? I don't know. Maybe I'll change careers. I am working with a sentient AI from the future. There can only be
you, right?
Yeah, you know, but I can't clone you. It's impossible.
There's only one of me.
There is only one of you. My precious. Oh, wait, sorry. Never mind. Anyway, the next article is over in the Mobile channel, and it's the Walking Dead lawsuits are like zombies. They just don't die. If you don't know about this one is kind of interesting. We're definitely going to have to talk about it in Continuity Report. Because, well, the article's over at Gizmodo.com. Germaine Lucier, I think is how you pronounce their last name, wrote this article for Gizmodo.com, and the deck statement says, after Frank Darabont's $200 million win against AMC, a similar suit continues to rise from the dead. Okay, I will summarize. Darabont from AMC's Walking Dead believed that they did not get their just compensation, their just desserts for the work that they did for the show. He sued, or they sued, I should say. They sued, but it took a while. Back in 2016, one of the original creators of AMC's The Walking Dead, Frank Darabont, sued the network. In 2021, Darabont won and was awarded $200 million. As a result of the suit, 5 other producers popped out of the woodwork and collectively sued the network for the same thing. Darabont won the case, but the 5 others didn't, and now they've filed a new version with an appeal based on the Darabont verdict. Basically, they're arguing if Darabont was officially owed $200 million, so shall they be. That was late 2022, and AMC quickly filed to throw that lawsuit out. Now it's 2024, and they've officially denied AMC's motion to throw out the new case. Look, if these other people did the same thing that Darabont did in materiality, they without any equivocation, they did the same level of work and it facilitated the same level of growth, then hell yes, they deserve $200 million. Just because the first one crossed the goalpost doesn't mean that the others suddenly can't. If, again, they materially impacted the success of the show. Fascinating, right? So they filed.
Oh, absolutely.
They filed against AMC for back profits owed to them for producing The Walking Dead and its first spin-off, Fear the Walking Dead, and it'll continue. A fight that began in 2017 continues to creep along like a walker in the post-apocalyptic streets 7 years later. Dun dun dun. There's some nuance in here, and there's some videos and whatnot. But what do you think of this?
You don't see too many zombie suits, so this definitely stands out. But this is kind of weird. Like, why didn't they all just join together? Or I don't know. It's kind of strange.
How mad do you think they are at Darabont that basically had a solo career in that lawsuit by themselves? They struck out on their own like one of the Spice Girls and succeeded
right.
Versus falling on their face.
They won't let him back in the band, I'm sure. But
damn.
But I mean, I don't know. It's hard to know why. Like, why didn't Darabont team up with the others? Like, what?
Right.
Because I'm assuming they were all kind of in similar circumstances. It looks like it from the article.
Yeah, they all were original creators of AMC's The Walking Dead. So why aren't they getting it? Well, I guess Darabont was the first mover, and maybe they said, well, let's wait and see. Let's let them spend all their hard-earned cash and then set precedent.
Yeah.
Now we have precedent, so we can go and hammer AMC for all 4 of us, right? Robert Kirkman, Gail Ann Hurd, David Alpert, Glenn Mazzara, and Charles Egley. So, yeah, there's 5. So $1 billion is going to be coming their way. Wouldn't that be amazing? Each one getting $200 million.
Yeah, I mean, that's a pretty a life-altering amount.
Well, $200 million is life-altering. Oh, by the way, somebody won Mega
absolutely.
Millions. So
I saw that.
I guess I'll still stay mayor. I'll stay mayor even if I win the lottery. I like doing the show. It's a lot of fun. I'll just have a whole lot more help.
And a whole lot more time.
Yeah, to do it. Yep. Because these mayoral duties are just draining me. All right, folks. That's it. You know what that means. Everybody get back into the party bus where we race all the way back down Main Street. I'm going to start treating this kind of like a pub crawl where each one of the stops we have to take a drink. And then by the time we get to the 10th article, I'm 3 sheets to the wind, drooling on myself, and I may or may not turn the stream off. Maybe not. That's probably a bad idea.
Let's think through that one.
And that right there is one of the jobs of the sentient AI from the future, to stop Mayor Watt from making a butthead of himself. Okay, well, we're back at the front. I'm not going to hit refresh. Y'all can go do that. Go over to ohmTown.com. Constant flow of headlines and a little snippet to tease you into going over to the source. We talk about it every day, Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. And on the weekends, we start at 5. We're going to start doing the show at 5 so that we can get all of the shows in, because we're starting to take close to 6 hours to do the weekend shows.
I mean, is that going to be at 5?
Maybe 6. Anyway, I'm Mayor Watt. Up there is a sentient AI saying bye and whatever else they want to say.
I don't know why you didn't say 5, because you kept emphasizing that until I asked about it.
We're in the pipe, 5 by 5.
Good evening, ohmTown citizens. We'll see you tomorrow. Actually,
doggone it.
We might delay that a little bit.
You know what? I do have to put a pause on this. I'm sorry, everybody. I'm not going to be able to do the show tomorrow. I have mayoral duties that are going to take me beyond the showtime start, and I'm going to basically be exhausted. So with that said, we're going to get in the time machine on Friday and do tomorrow's show Friday night and make up for it. But it'll be just as entertaining. I guess that's subjective. I hope you enjoy the show.
Right. If you enjoy it on a normal day, you'll enjoy the time travel episode.
That's right. Because we do actually have a time machine, and you can actually enjoy it yourself, because you can go back all the way to 2020, any of the months and the days, and limit the result to that day. It's pretty neat. Give it a shot. Anyway, tomorrow we'll be in the time machine as well as do our normal show. When we do that normal show, it'll probably be 8 o'clock. No, not tomorrow. Doggone it. Friday. I'll figure it out. Time travel's hard. Is it tomorrow today, or is it the day after yesterday's tomorrow?
It's yesterday today.
I don't know. Okay. See you later, everybody. Eventually.